Welcome to Budget Beauty, where I help you look flawless for less. Welcome back, and a very special welcome if you're new here. My name is Jen, and this is Budget Beauty. We do everything beauty on a budget, and that includes testing out first impressions, reviews of new makeup releases. And today I am so excited to play around with this new release. This is a collaboration collection that's been a long time coming. It is between Manny MUA here on YouTube and Laura Lee Los Angeles. So between Laura Lee Los Angeles Cosmetics and Lunar Beauty Cosmetics, two of the indie brands that I really enjoy. And this collection is stunning. So if you're excited, give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not, because I upload lots and lots of new videos every single week. I will link the collection down below for you. Unfortunately, codes do not apply to the collection, but I will put a code down there if you want to do any other shopping on either Lunar Beauty's website or Laura Lee Los Angeles website. You'll also find links for my favorite beauty subscription boxes, all of the other makeup that I'm wearing in today's video, if you would like to recreate this look. And don't forget to come follow me over on TikTok for a little bit more beauty on a budget. So let's jump in to the Laura Lee Los Angeles and Lunar Beauty collab. So this was quite a big collection, and like I said, it was a collaboration between Manny MUA here on YouTube and Laura Lee Los Angeles. I did not purchase the entire collection. There was actually some lip products as well as a makeup bag and brush set that were part of the collection that I didn't purchase. However, I did grab the eyeshadow palette and the blush palette, and we're going to test both of those out today. So when I received my order, I got this beautiful postcard. I mean, they look absolutely stunning. And on the back, it actually does tell you everything in the collection. So you can actually see the other pieces if they would be something that you would be interested in picking up. There's some prices as well. So the lipsticks retail for $14 a piece. And then the brush set that includes the 6-piece brush set and the makeup bag for $70, or you can buy the entire collection for $135. This collection is called Fool Fantasy. If you didn't know, Manny MUA and Laura Lee have a podcast called Fool Coverage, and this is a collaboration that goes in conjunction with that podcast. Full transparency, I've never listened to the podcast, but I've bought a lot of Lunar Beauty and Laura Lee Los Angeles palettes and products, and I love them. You guys know I'm obsessed with the Lunar Beauty lip oil. And don't forget, you can use codes on the Lunar Beauty website for things outside of the Fool Fantasy collection. So definitely add a lip oil or two to your cart. You won't be disappointed. So like I said, I did pick up the palette, and I'm so excited about this. Let me go ahead and insert some swatches of the unicarton itself and a close-up of the palette. I really appreciate the collaboration on this palette. We have those nudie colors that Laura Lee is famous for, and then most of Lunar Beauty's palettes are going to have some type of moon design on them. So on this palette, we have a sun, which I think is just a beautiful collaboration between Laura Lee and Manny MUA. There is a full-size beautiful mirror in the palette, and to be honest with you, when I open the palette, it's more beautiful in person than any video I've seen, including Laura Lee's and Manny's videos. The shimmers in this palette are just beautiful and sparkly, typical of Lunar Beauty, I would say. And then the mattes are those beautiful creamy formula that you can find in both Lunar Beauty and Laura Lee Los Angeles. I love that this is a neutral palette with color. That is my type of neutral palette. I love color, I love neutral. I don't discriminate, but I like a neutral palette with a twist. And I love that we have purples and we have blues and pinks. So today I want to make sure that I'm using some of the neutral colors as well as some of these beautiful, shifty, colorful shimmers, especially like this blue brown right here. I love a good blue brown shimmer. So I can't wait to dip into this. The swatches were stunning. They swatched beautifully, buttery, soft matte, sparkly shimmers. I can't wait for this. The 18 shade eyeshadow palette retails for $48. And then of course I picked up the blush palette. What I love about this blush palette is in true Laura Lee Los Angeles style, not only are there blushes, but there's highlighters. And I love that she does that because this makes it very versatile and fantastic for travel. Again, I'll insert some swatches for you of the unicarton and the palette, as well as swatches of the blushes. Again, we have that nude pink with that sun that is just reminiscent of Lunar Beauty. And again, this is the Fool Fantasy Fantasy Blush Palette. You are going to receive 4 stunning blushes and again, 2 highlighters. This does retail for $35. I fell in love with this brown blush. I don't have a brown blush like that in my collection, and this kind of Barbie pink, real estate pink, so beautiful. And I love the 2 highlighters. I love that there's a little lighter shade, a little deeper shade, something for all skin tones. So I am super excited about this blush palette. I love both Lunar Beauty and Laura Lee Los Angeles blush and highlight formula. So let me go ahead and zoom you in up close. Let's create a eye look with the full Fantasy palette and add some beautiful blush and highlighter with the blush palette. So as always, the first thing I'm going to do is prime my eyes with my MAC Paint Pot in Painterly. I just want to show you, look at that. She is almost empty. I have finished off a MAC Paint Pot. That's how much I use this. This is my go-to for all of my eyeshadow looks. It just sets my eyeshadow in place all day long. And of course, I've already purchased a backup. In fact, speaking of using up products, wait until you see my empties for July. I don't know if that video will be up before this one, but I have so many empties in July. I went through so much makeup and so much skincare. And it looks like I'll be adding this MAC Paint Pot to my empties. I like to just give it a quick tap just to make sure that there's no creasing in the eye primer. Now, like I said, I want to use some of the neutrals. I want to use some of the colors. I think I'm going to stick with a neutral for my transition shade. I'm going to start with this neutral kind of brown shade called We're Back. Picking that up on a big fluffy brush. I'm going to use that as the transition for my look. Just blending that into my crease, a little bit above my crease, but not all the way up to my brow bone. This is a really pretty neutral brown shade. It's not anything super special or unique, but I will say that it is applying beautifully. It is blending out really nicely. When I first applied it, it was quite pigmented, but I'm able to blend that out. So it's actually a perfect transition shade. That's really beautiful. It does have a little bit of a purple undertone, which I kind of like about it. Maybe it's a little bit more unique of a neutral brown than I thought that it was, but the perfect transition shade. I'm going to add a little pop of color to my crease as well. So I'm going to pick up this deep kind of eggplant shade called Lanny. Now, apparently Laura Lee and Manny mix their names. So there's Lanny and then there's Mora, I think, which I think is pretty cute. I believe that's something that they do on their podcast. So I'm going to take that deep plum shade and I'm just going to focus that right on my crease. That way we can still see that beautiful We're Back shade that we use as a transition, just kind of popping out above Lanny. Now that was one tap into that palette and look at that beautiful pigmentation. I always tell you guys that purples in general can be really hard to formulate. They become really patchy really quickly and this one blended out beautifully. It's not patchy at all. And like I said, that was one tap in for all of that pigmentation. There is a tiny bit of kick up in the pan, but I have no fallout. So kick up typically means pigmentation. Just make sure if you do your base first, like I did, that you're just tapping off your brush just to avoid as much fallout as possible. But I already set my face anyway, so if I had to wipe away fallout, it should come off pretty easily. Now going back into We're Back with that fluffy brush we used for the crease, I'm picking up a little bit more shadow and I'm just going to use that to blend. That's so pretty. I love it. Now I have to use this black in the palette called Break Time. It's swatched really nicely. And again, blacks are hard too. They can become really patchy, a little ashy. So I want to see how this black applies. Is it that really rich, true black? And I'm going to pop that on the outer corner just to deepen up and add some depth. This is something I do with all of my makeup looks, is really add a really deep, dark matte to the outer corner. Really just that outer about third of my lid. And again, one tap into that black and look at that. That is so pretty. It looks like I blended it and I have not blended it. Wow, I'm impressed with the black. That is so beautiful and went on flawlessly. Using that same fluffy brush we used in the crease with no added shadow. Again, I just like to do a quick blend. As always, I'm using my NYX glitter glue. This is almost gone as well. I can't believe how this month I've just went through so many products. It seems to happen that way. Products will last me months and months and months, and then all of a sudden in 1 month I go through everything. And that's kind of what's happened in June. So yeah, you'll see a lot of June empties coming up here in my empties video. And then as always, I like to show you guys shimmer application with both a finger and a brush. So we're gonna start with my finger, and you already know, the blue brown shade is going on my lid, and that is the shade Aries. I mean, look how stunning that is. So pretty, so shifty. And I'm going to focus that on about the outer 3/4 of my lid. That is so pretty. Look how pretty that is. It looks so good with that purple in the crease. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It's shifty. I see the blue, I see the brown, and again, it just pairs really nicely with that purple and that deep and that shade We're Back in my crease. And then using a flat kind of dense brush, this is my favorite brush to apply shimmers. I want to go in with a shimmer on the inner corner. And I feel like we need to use this kind of pinky purpley shifty shade called Fool Fam. So I'm picking that up on that dense brush, and I'm going to apply that right next to my blue brown shimmer just on the inner corner. Ooh, that's very beautiful as well. It's definitely pinky purple, but then it shifts, or it's picking up the browns in the crease. I'm not sure exactly which, because in the pan, it doesn't look like it has any brown base, but when I apply it next to the blue brown shimmer and the colors in my crease, it kind of picks up a little bit of a brown, which I really love. And this shade is applying beautifully with the brush. So finger or brush, either way, the shimmers work fantastic. Now using that flat brush that I used for the shimmers, I'd go ahead and wipe that off. I'm going to go back in to the shade Lanny, which is that deep kind of eggplant purple, and I'm going to buff that on my lower lash line. I just love this eggplant shade. It's so fun and unique. We have kind of a deep purple shimmer next to Lanny called Social. I'm going to pick that up on that same flat brush and add a little bit of shimmer to the lower lash line, just buffing that over Lanny. That was exactly what the lower lash line needed. And then last but not least, I do want to do an inner corner highlight. Let's use this kind of peachy shifty shade called Your Fave. And again, picking that up on a dense kind of packer brush, I'm going to just pop that in the inner corner. That is so fun. I love that. It is peachy. It's like a peachy, pinky white. Oh my goodness, it's the perfect inner corner highlight shade. So that is the completed eye look. Let me go ahead and pop on some liner and some mascara, and I'll be back and we'll do our blush and highlight and our lips together. So here's the completed eye look with the Full Fantasy palette. I did go ahead and just add some black liquid liner, mascara, and now we're ready to finish my complexion with the Full Fantasy blush and highlight palette. Now, obviously, like I mentioned, I love the brown blush, I love the bright pink blush, but I feel like for our look today, I want to go into this deep dark pink called Rose Skyline, and then I think I will top it with the shade called Pink Blossom, that light pink. We'll do a little bit of a duo blush, so picking it up on a blush brush, an angle blush, which is my favorite. Ooh, look at that. We're going to tap that on. Ooh, that's beautiful. Wow, and we have pigmentation, which is no surprise. Both Laura Lee and Lunar Beauty's blushes are always so beautiful and so incredibly pigmented. Ooh, that's pretty. Now with the other side of the blush brush, I'm going to go into Pink Blossom. It's so pretty. It is like bubblegum Barbie real estate pink. Oh yeah, that's so pretty layered on the deeper blush. Ooh, I really like that Pink Blossom shade. I could actually use that as a standalone blush. This would definitely show up on my skin tone. It's really pretty layered together. And then I want to try out Gold Fantasy, that goldy kind of champagne highlight. Just picking that up on a fan brush. Oh, so pretty. Now, it's definitely not the immediate application that's in your face shimmery highlight. Let me see if I can build it up a little bit. Oh yeah, there we go. That's more my speed of highlight. You know I love that really kind of shifty Seen from Space highlight. That is really, really pretty. I feel like we need to try Nude Champagne too. So I'm going to, on the other side of that fan brush, pick up Nude Champagne, and we'll apply that to this side. Ooh, that's actually really pretty. I was afraid that that would be a little dark for my skin tone, but it's not. Wow, that's actually really pretty. It has that definite pink undertone, which pairs beautifully with the blush. And then this one is a little bit more of that icy white highlight. You can definitely see the difference. Both of these are so pretty. I mean, so pretty of a highlight. And then I thought we could do our lips together as well. I am going to use a Laura Lee Los Angeles product and a Lunar Beauty product, so you can see how some of their lip products apply as well. So I'm going to line my lips with the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. This is one of those just neutral pink shades. And then I'm going to be using the Laura Lee Los Angeles liquid lipstick in the shade Topless. This is such a pretty nude pink. Look at that. It's so pretty. It's a shade I wear a lot. Anytime I want just kind of a nudie pink lip. Her liquid lipstick formula is really nice. It's very satiny, it's very smooth. It does dry down, so you could just leave it like this if you prefer a more matte lip, but I like to allow my liquid lipsticks to dry down, and then I love to put a gloss or lip oil on top. And like I mentioned, I'm obsessed with Lunar Beauty's lip oils. They are the best, hands down the best lip oils. This is in the shade Dreamy, and I'm just going to pop that right on top. I mean, look at that. It's so good. It is such a juicy, creamy formula. It's not sticky at all. And out of all of the lip oils I've tried, the Lunar Beauty has the longest longevity. It just stays on the lips, hydrates them, and is the perfect topper for a liquid lipstick. So again, you can use codes on the Lunar Beauty website for anything other than the collection with Laura Lee. So I'll put a code down below for you, and definitely check out Laura Lee's liquid lipsticks as well. You can buy this collection on either website. So let me go ahead and get dressed for the day, zoom you out, and let's talk about my final thoughts on the Laura Lee Los Angeles X Lunar Beauty Full Fantasy collection. So let's go over my final thoughts on the Laura Lee Los Angeles Manny MUA Full Fantasy collection. So like I said, I picked up the palette and the blush. First, let's talk about the palette. Now, the packaging, amazing. Always beautiful with Lunar Beauty and Laura Lee Los Angeles. And the color story is definitely something that I appreciate. It's neutral with a pop of color. The shimmers really speak for themselves applied to the eyes, especially the shade Aries, that blue brown, that popular kind of duochrome shifty shimmer. The shimmers in here are beautiful. You can apply them with the finger, you can apply them with the brush. The mattes are buttery, they're pigmented, they're blendable. It's what I expect from both brands, and especially collaborating together. They did an amazing job on this palette. This is a palette I can see myself reaching for a lot because it is neutral with a little bit of color. It would be a fantastic travel palette because you have everything you need to create both colorful and neutral looks. I think the price point of this is fantastic for how big of a palette this is and how beautiful the quality is. And then the blush palette. I mean, the blush palette also spoke for itself during the application. The highlighters are beautiful. I was afraid that this pinky highlight might be a little too deep for me, and you can see that it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning, and in fact, I think I like it even more than the gold highlighter, which I thought would be the opposite. I love these two pink blushes. They, again, layered beautifully together. I can't wait to dip into the brown and the peach. I think this palette is very well curated for all skin tones, and I very much appreciate that there's blush and highlight. Again, fantastic for travel because it's all you would need for complexion for blush and highlight. Overall, I think this collection was a huge win. It speaks to both of the brands perfectly. I love everything about it. I would definitely recommend picking this up if you're interested. Now, the lip colors are also very beautiful. I'm just on a no-buy for lip products because I have so many. So I went ahead and paired it with some of my favorite Laura Lee and Manny lip products as well. I'll link these two down below for you in the list of all the other makeup that's on my face if you're interested in picking up a few other products from the lines. But overall, I love this collection. I can't wait to play with it more.